Welcome back to another live, and thank you for coming in. Thank you to my new subscribers. Appreciate you. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Back at it again, late, trying not to be tired and all that kind of stuff. But like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, hit the like button, please. The case. I'm getting straight into it because it's late. And of course, I got to get up. And I didn't want to cover it. Jarvis Butts and Nazaya Harris trial that's going to be that's upcoming because it just brought back memories as far as me being molested as a child. However, I've been following this case of being a victim as well, and just how and the fact that she missed and what her life went through because she was literally in love with this man. And then the fact that this man served time. Now, he a nice looking man, don't get me wrong, but he served time in prison for abuse of other children, gave his 4-year-old daughter a venereal disease. And the fact that this lady let him in her house, had 5 kids by him, had kids all around him, knowingly what he was convicted of previously, and him being around kids is a trigger for him, just like a drug addict being around other addicts is a trigger. You know what I mean? And she felt okay for him to have kids around him. And if he did that to his own child, no other child stood a chance around him. And believe me, she knew that he was messing with that little girl. She knew. It's not a doubt in my mind because I remember uh, when the child testified, she was 9, and all she said that she saw that her panties was down, but she did not know what they were doing in the same room with another child. And the fact, and I'm gonna be honest about, I don't think that he did anything to Naziah. I think the auntie did. I really do. Or they were co-conspirators together. But I really do think she has something. But we got some updates on it, and we're just gonna do a recap. And I didn't even know this. Um. Oh shoot. Hold on, it's messing up. Suspect in the Zaya Harris case, he's charged in another alleged sexual assault of a young girl. The man who is charged in the sexual assault and murder of 13-year-old Naziah Harris is now facing charges for another girl. Wayne County prosecutor Kim Worthy charged Jarvis Butts, 42, with one count of first-degree sexual conduct, person under 13, third-degree criminal sexual conduct, person between 13 and 15. It's alleged that Butts sexually assaulted a 12-year-old girl in the spring of 2013 at a home in Allen Park. Last year, Butts was arrested and charged in connection to the SA and murder of Naziah Harris. He was bound over for trial, so we know that. Prosecutors have also charged, but in other cases, he's charged for allegedly sexual assault of a now 20-year-old woman when she was 8 years old and 10 years old. He's sick, but I believe something happened to him as a kid too, and he never got the counseling and mental support he needed. Buzz had just been released from prison after serving 10 years for sexually assaulting another child, his daughter. Okay? So they just charged him with that, and that was 7 days ago. Okay, I'm not going to go there. Let me see. So they're saying the prosecutor is saying that more complete facts and evidence will be placed on record in court at a preliminary examination. The new charges are first degree criminal sexual conduct and third degree criminal sexual conduct. In a separate case with Naziah Butts is scheduled for an October trial in the death of Harris. Danye, close your door. And Naziah was last seen getting off a bus in Detroit last January. Her disappearance led police searching areas in southwest Michigan where they found her clothes and other items and, not her. He was arraigned on June 30th and given a 500,000 10% bond, which means what he need 50,000 to get out. He has also been charged with sexually abusing two other children who were under 13 at the time. And I already told you about the girl now who is not, she's now 20 and she was abused April 2012 while the other victim is now 11. Oh my God, she was abused July 2015. She is now 11. She was abused from July 2015 until July 2017. So what? This girl was 3, 4 years. Oh, this is daughter. Oh my God. He had been charged with 5 counts of second degree criminal sexual conduct and 1 count of first degree criminal sexual conduct for those assaults. Court records show that Butts served time in prison for SA a child in 2004. He did 10 years. Mr. Butts targeted and befriended women to have sexual relationships with their young daughters. That is a fact. So the trial date for Naziah is in October. Now, this is what I found fascinating. Well, not fascinating, but knowing the Detroit Police Department never investigated the 2022 claim involving Naziah and Jarvis Butts. The Detroit Police will investigate. I spell her name wrong. I need to fix that. It's N-A. Let me get that real quick. Well, I jacked her name on all that. N-A. Then it's Z. And that actually is a pretty name. Z-I. Z-I-Y-A-H. That's a pretty name, though. And actually, so I got the name right. Actually, this case broke my heart. It really did. It brought me to tears, knowing that this man has hurt so many young girls, and that women would bring them into their lives knowingly that he was a predator. Okay, so getting back to this, that they never investigated a 2022 claim that Naziah Harris had been inappropriately touched by Jarvis Butts. The man later accused of SAing her and unaliving her. Excuse me. The alert to police was made more than 20 months before Naziah would go missing and came in the form of a law enforcement notification by Child Protective Services. We just didn't do enough with it, Assistant Chief Charles Fitzgerald said in an interview. This was last Tuesday, adding that the department has since implemented new policies that will ensure the same mistake won't happen again. We could have done better, no question. Last year, 7 News Detroit revealed that Jarvis Butts had been the subject of multiple complaints to Child Protective Services, including some that named Naziah along with a second girl as victims of improper touching. Records show that CPS investigated the allegation against one of the girls who made no disclosures about any abuse, but not Naziah. What CPS officials did do, however, was share the alert with Detroit police in the form of a link. The alert counted more than 5,000 a year. They are sent when CPS learns of possible criminal behavior. And y'all don't investigate them? Wow. The complaint went on to name 2 other children who may have been abused, saying Naziah and another one reported that Jarvis touched them inappropriately as well. Jarvis is a SA offender and a felon. Naziah's great aunt Janelle says she filed that complaint with CPS that was ultimately made its way to the Detroit Police Department. But the department never did investigate. Wow, that is so sad. If they would investigate, she probably would still be alive. That breaks my heart. But when questioned by officers, denied any wrongdoing. He has maintained his innocence since being charged. Bay Area reviewed the link for 7 News Detroit, saying it was clear the alert mentioned at least 2 possible victims by name and made a reference to a third. Never investigated. She could really be alive today. Somebody dropped the ball, he said. It's pretty clear by reading that there's at least 2 allegations of SA there. Fitzgerald makes no excuses for what happened and says that much has changed with how the department handles the Lynn report it received since the Naziah complaint came in. Mm, mm, mm. Today, regardless of who CPS identifies under the victim header, Fitzgerald says DPD interviews everyone identified as being abused. He pointed out the original complaint lacked complete information such as Naziah's last name or her address, but acknowledged that we could have found rather quickly who this young lady was had the department investigated. It's a horrible excuse, Fitzgerald said. We still should have done what we should have done. Relatives of Nazir say they are distraught to learn that the department was warned as early as 2022 and did nothing. The fact that they acknowledge it shouldn't have worked this way, and it took something so tragic for something to happen to her. You're damn right it shouldn't have worked that way. They should have did their job. Then another person said Morton said she too filed complaints with CPS concerning Butts and wonders if the 13-year-old's fate might have been different had the police ever reached out to her. Somebody has to answer for that. They absolutely do. While the department says it's more responsive to alerts like the one that named Nazia in 2022, it could not say to what degree other complaints like her were never investigated. I think the obvious question that a case like this begs is how many other victims or alleged victims in reports like this were named but never contacted by DPD. Nazia's family says they worry for other children whose complaints may have been disregarded. I don't think it stopped at one child sliding through the cracks. They clearly weren't doing their jobs. It wasn't as important. Wow, that's unbelievable. She would still be alive. So that's basically the update. He got other charges, two more victims. Now we're gonna get into the recap part. My heart is broke. So that was, now let's get into the where is it at? Okay. Court reveals disturbed. Now this happened in January. This is when the child, I mean, when he was on being bound over, whether he was going to be bound over for trial. Court reveals disturbing messages serial child rapist sent Nazia here before she, and these were awful. I don't know if I could even read this on YouTube. She went missing in January because she was pregnant at 13 by him, and her body still has not been recovered. Butts was supposed to turn himself into authorities on a gun day that day, and the two reportedly went to Cincinnati for return to Detroit, where Butts checked into a motel. So did he check into the motel with her? Text records allege that Butts knew Harris was pregnant and that he began searching online about abortions, abortion pills, and drinking red antifreeze. Authorities believe Butts had been SAing Harris since 2022 before unaliving her January 2024. Prosecutors said he had a history of targeting and befriending women to get close to abuse daughters. He was charged September 2024 as a habitual fourth time offender. He getting life this time. He ain't never getting out. He was tracked to Rouge River in Detroit the day after her disappearance, where police would later recover the clothes Harris was last seen wearing. Authorities said there was damage to the clothing that could indicate a struggle. Now the cat's talking. Oh my God. So I can read some of this text message. This September 2022. Here's text. Come on. Here's you okay? Here's where are we doing it at your choice? So this the little girl texting him asking where they gonna do it. She thought this was love. She loved him. But you tell me, she said the basement. So she was willing to give her body over because she loved him. Harris was like the girl, the long girl. Come on. Harris, you okay? Oh, wait a minute. So he said the basement. And Harris was like, you sure? You sure? And then Butt sent her a thing, a text message. Can you suck my please? She 13. And make sure you erase the messages. Okay, that is what I plan to do. Wow. But it's June 5th, 2022. But I'm at your house. Harris, damn, we were just there. You better not be in my room. I need another phone. And then she telling Butts, I miss you. And Butts tell her I stole your panties. Oh, he's sick. He's sick. June 2023. Butts says, send me some pictures, please. Harris, don't you steal other pics? But no, I wouldn't. June 2023. Butts said, are you naked yet? Wow. No, I don't want to get naked. Harris, are you mad I didn't get naked? But I used to you telling me no. She says, come on, babe. I'm sorry, just not in the mood right now. I'm sorry. September 2023. Harris, babe, you up? She says, my period haven't came at all. Hello, dear. But says, what do you mean? He said, since when? Since I was in the hospital. That was last month. I'm scared. I don't know what to do. I have to go to the doctors tomorrow. You I can't have no money, she says. You go get one. Here's you ain't scared to get a plan B, get a pregnancy test and bring it later today. Just act like you have to use the bathroom. Here's please, will you do it? Now she begged. This is awful. Here, I don't want to talk. I really don't want to lose you. Can we talk later? Yes or no? I don't know what, but I need you to bring what I need tonight. It's hard on this gym shit with this baby, and if you don't do them, I'm gonna get a F. Wow, that's just some of the text message. Mm, mm, mm. She was last seen Cornwall, because it's on the east side, Cornwall and 3 Mile Drive in Detroit on January 9th, 2024. After the hearing where he's bound over for trial, she said the judge, Aaliyah Sabri said, you're a monster. Whole she is that. She wants someone to love. I pray for the healing of all the victims, the youngest, and possibly boys who have come in contact with you. The judge said, as a community, we should look at this case as a prime example of how much work we have to do when it comes to protecting our children and especially black girls. But he did that to his own daughter. More than 20 witnesses, including a combination of experts, family members, and enforcement officials, spoke in court. 8 witnesses, including Nazia's grandmother and aunt, testified. Nazia's aunt, Shannon Harris, testified that she did not suspect anything beyond a normal uncle niece bond between Butts and Nazia. That's a lie. You knew. You knew. I know you know. Women always know. So I already went through that. She was trying to get her abortion. Oh, they going through the. Oh, they did a blood test on her. The clothes that Nazia was found. That they found. So was it his blood that was on there? Let me see, or was it just her blood? Wow. So what they know of her disappearance? She took the bus to school. She had her hair in 2 braided puff balls, clear frame glasses, a white sweater with a black jacket over it, a colorful Rugrats puffy jacket with a fur-lined hood with light blue jeans and Nike shoes. There's a video of Naziah getting on the bus. Naziah used a DPS issue tablet that she used to communicate on an app. And the message that they got that they would be meeting up after she got out of school. There's a video of her getting out of school at the end of the day. She meets up with Butts and a co-worker and goes back to their auto repair shop. Naziah is seen by Butts' sister at the shop. Butts, the co-worker, and Naziah were together in the co-worker's car when they went to Ypsilanti, then returned to the shop on Connor. Naziah is never seen again. Oh, then he checked into a motel at 9 p.m. The Park Crest Motel. The receipt confirming this as well. And then he was also charged with abusing 2 other children who were under 13 at the time. Oh, this is the same information. I'm just going to delete that. This is the saddest. This is just people is sick. They sick. Okay, I think this is the same information. I'm just deleting the stuff out of here. One of Nazia's younger cousins testified that she was in the room with another cousin when Butts took advantage and had sex with Nazia in front of them. He, the cousin said it wasn't the first time she saw Butts coercing sex on her cousins. She testified that he tried to make advances to her at one point, but she was able to say no after recognizing what he was trying to do. Nazia's adult cousin Roxy described seeing Butts in court Tuesday and hearing the allegations against him. mm, 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 mm. 8 witnesses, including Nazia's grandmother, aunt, and she testified. Oh, the aunt testified she did not suspect anything. That's a lie. Mm-mm, that is a lie. That is a lie. That is a lie. Mm-mm. So there was a week of non-existent DNA. So when they test her clothes, it was inconsistent, linking Butts to critical items such as pink jumpsuit and black hoodie. Insufficient evidence of blood or DNA in vehicles allegedly associated with Butts. Okay, where we at? Let me see. Yeah, 16. Oh shoot. I went too far, y'all. And we're gonna get into some videos, and this is just. And I wasn't going to. Oh yeah, this is the same article. If I can get rid of this. So we did the text. Oh shit. That's where he gave his daughter chlamydia. They talked about that as well. Oh, the Border Patrol was searching for her in Southwest Detroit. And then a woman marked 7 found her school ID on 7 Mile in Greenfield. Then he was bound over for trial. Everybody failed that little girl. The judge says, how were there two women in that house who had birthed children themselves who did not notice Naziah was pregnant? And I believe she was, and not having her period anymore. See, when my daughter was growing up, I had her period marked on the calendar, and mine too. We just on the calendar or your periods. I knew every month that she had a period. What stood out most, the judge says that the grandmother learned around 6 p.m. on January that Naziah did not come home from school and said she looked around for her and decided to wait until the next morning to call the police. She appeared to not show any emotion. I don't know who else failed Naziah, but the community did. And said the body is not needed to prosecute him, to charge him with the M word, the unalive part. Naziah deserves so much more, and while I mentioned that other people have failed to Jarvis, but you are the monster in the whole picture. Mm, mm, mm. Got that. Oh, this cleared out a lot of stuff in my phone. Cleared out a lot of stuff. Because I think that all of this is. Okay, we got a little near. This last one. All right. We gonna do a few video. Oh shit. Right, I think that's it. Let's get into these videos. Cause I want to do one more video. Man, and y'all see I want to cry up here about that little girl. Oh my God, you cannot make this up. I had everything. This happened all the time. I had everything ready to go. Because we only got 20 more minutes. What time is it? Damn. Damn. Everything was ready to go. Oh, I'm almost there. All right, I'm just about there, y'all. All right, here we go. Okay, and this is the little girl, Naziah. That's the little girl.
Court proceedings are about to resume this morning. Let's listen in together. And that, of course, with the exception of the officer in charge. On that point as well, I did notice when I came into the court that former officer Jarvis, who's now in the sixth courtroom, didn't even have in the courtroom, but just because we'll be facing this way, your staff.
You know what? This is too long, so I'm not going to keep that. Yeah, that's too long. Now this is his sister.
And could you please state your name for the record? Tijuana Burns. And how old are you, Ms. Butts? 46. And do you know someone named Jarvis Butts? Yes. And how is it that you know him? He's my brother. And how old is Jarvis Butts? 42. And do you know his birthday? Yes. When's his birthday? November 21st, 19. And did you see Jarvis Butts in the courtroom today? That's on mine. Okay. Can you point to tell me the clothing that he's wearing? He has on, I believe it's dark green shirt. He's sitting behind the lady to the side of you. And you remember the record of like, what did you do as a result of receiving those things? I called Shannon and I asked her for Sergeant Jones' phone. Okay. And who's the Shannon that you called? It's his mom. Shannon Harris? Okay. Do you do anything before you talk to Sergeant Jones? Yes. Okay. What is it that you do? Okay, so after having a conversation with Shannon Harris and his other kid's mom, I was informed that his partner King, I guess something happened where this. Objection, this is hearsay. It's not a statement yet, Judge. I'm informed. I'm not sure what she's even about to say. Okay, just to the extent that it's informed or someone else's statement. You might have to take a moment. You need to speak up. If you can stand up and make your objection. Okay, so just objecting to the fact that she was informed or something. It appears this might be hearsay. Yeah. Could you get your where you are? Okay, so after. Can I just have 1 second? Yes.
Anyway, his sister ended up testifying that the day that Nazir disappeared, she took her car up to the shop to get it looked at, and she noticed the girl going in and out of the car. And when she came up missing, she went to the police herself. That's pretty much now.
Today, another child takes the stand detailing the alleged sexual abuse she survived at the hands of a man accused of killing 13-year-old Messiah Harris. That testimony and new DNA analysis playing a key role in determining whether Jarvis Butts will ultimately stand trial for murder.
You're familiar with the case. A quick line. Nazia Harris went missing almost 2 years ago to the day. It was January 9th, 2024.
Have never been found, but prosecutors arrested this man right here. He's 41-year-old Jarvis Butts. Arrested him on September 27th. Today, he was in a Detroit courtroom for a preliminary hearing. Sean Lay was in that courtroom for all of it. Sean, prosecutors say there is a clear motive here.
There is. We're going to get to that right away. This is just like the Zion Foster case. Talking about teen allegedly abused adult. Here goes missing tomb. Zion Harris is 13 years old. Her body has been found. Her family continues to find justice. Here are the new details we're learning inside court today. This is the first time we're hearing the voice of Jarvis Butts. He is 41 years old. He is accused of the sexual abuse and murder of a 13-year-old named Nazia Harris. She was related to one of Butts' many girlfriends, and he called Nazia his niece. The teen was last seen with Butts after school last January. Police brought Butts in for this interrogation. We asserted for her where Butts told police everything he knew about the girl was on his cell phone. The police seized during a search warrant. You have to listen very closely to pick up what Butts is saying, but he says he has nothing to hide. A co-worker of Butts testified that Butts and Nazia Harris were at their auto repair shop the evening Nazia Harris vanished. But told investigators the last time he saw Nazia was weeks before. All right, back here live. This preliminary hearing, this isn't a trial, guys. Preliminary hearing goes into day 4 tomorrow. More than 24 witnesses already. 6 more witnesses tomorrow. That's because no names have been found, so prosecutors are having to connect all the way. They say goes all Jarvis Butts. Much more at 6 o'clock.
Wow. Okay, we'll see you then, Sean. Thank you.
Oh, that's just too long.
Get a picture of Nazia Harris, a now 14-year-old girl from Detroit. This picture was taken short time.
This is Strange Barn Grill.
Never to be seen or heard from again. It was taken by Nazia herself. This is the last known picture that we know about of her. Saying hello. Did she know that she was really saying goodbye? Naziah Harris has been missing since January 9th, when she was last seen getting off a school bus in the area of Cornwall and 3 Mile Drive. This case has been solved. Well, kind of. Meaning we know who did it. We know why this person did it. But why didn't anyone protect Naziah? And why is she still missing? Was the family in on this? Hello, strangers. Welcome back to the Strange Bar and Grill. Today we have another missing persons case. This is the story of Naziah Harris. Naziah was born to her mother and father in the city of Detroit. She interacted with her grandmother, Annette Harris, early on. But that living arrangement would come to an end, and Naziah would move in with her Aunt Shannon and her boyfriend. Not much is known about her parents, but it's reported that her mother was struggling with addiction, and her father wasn't able to care for her due to various medical reasons. Unfortunately, her father would pass away this year due to congestive heart failure, never finding out what happened to her. Naziah still found joy with her relationships with her cousins. She was motivated to do well in life. She would attend J.E. Clark Preparatory Academy on Detroit's east side. Despite her struggles, everything appeared to be going well for Naziah. She would study hard and do well in school. She was rarely late, and she rarely missed a day of school. However, life at home was different. You see, her ex-husband wasn't a typical man. He carried a long rap sheet of abuse from his past. Multiple children with underage girls in the area. That man was Jarvis, a known predator in the area. Despite the clear warning signs and the fact that Jarvis was recently released from prison for assaulting a child, nobody was able to convince Naziah's Aunt Shannon about the danger she was putting her family in.
Wow.
She was just too damn lonely.
Right.
Just 4 months
that part.
Something awful would happen. That would send shockwaves through Detroit. Naziah would disappear just moments after getting off the bus, never to be seen or from again. Not from her family, not from her schoolmates, not from her friends, and not from social media, where she was extremely active with her friends. Not from teachers, not from no one. On January 9th, Naziah had a typical day. She would get ready for school and rush out the door to get to the bus stop. She would be picked up by the bus and ride that bus to school like any normal day. Throughout the day, she would send text messages out from a tablet provided by DPS. When the school day ended, Naziah would leave the school and board the bus. Surveillance footage showed Naziah on the bus at around 2:50 p.m. The bus would eventually pull up to her normal stop at Cornwall Street and 3 Mile Drive. Naziah would exit the bus, but she wouldn't head home. Instead, something bad would happen to Naziah. Her aunt Shannon she didn't return from school. She didn't immediately report her missing, though, because she frequently come home late. But the following day, when Naziah returned home, she grew even more concerned. Her aunt Shannon, in a panic, would attempt to call Naziah multiple times on her cell phone and text messages, and those went unanswered. She knew something wasn't right, and she knew Naziah was gone. Shannon would contact Naziah's grandmother, Annette, to tell her what happened. Understanding the gravity of the situation, Annette would call the Detroit Public School Police and tell them that her granddaughter never came home from school and is missing. After her grandmother contacted the Detroit Public School Police, they didn't immediately spring into action. They waited a month before turning the case over to the Detroit PD.
A whole
Detroit
month.
Police then contacted federal law
month.
enforcement, including the U.S. Marshals, for assistance with the case. The different agencies worked together in an attempt to locate Naziah. The community also came together to spread awareness. They put up posters, shared social media posts. Everybody was truly wanting for Naziah to be brought home. Police would search ponds, abandoned buildings, areas, including warehouses, dead at a time. But Detroit police would give up. The department's major crimes division continued their search and would discover a piece of Naziah's clothing near the Rouge River around 7 Mile and Berg. The piece of clothing was damaged, indicating there may have been a struggle. Police would continue the public to come forward with any clues that may have. But Naziah already had a suspect in mind, someone they warned about for years, someone who just kept seeing the cracks. In March of 2024, Jarvis Butts, his boyfriend, was arrested by the Detroit police after a young girl bore accusations of offense dating back to 2014. She would go on to accuse Jarvis of multiple assaults over the course of an entire year. But she wasn't his only victim. You see, Jarvis had a history of dating lonely women with young daughters because that's what he really wanted.
Right.
He didn't want the mother. He would just date them to get close to their daughters.
Facts.
Police questioned Jarvis extensively of his latest crime. During their interrogations, they discovered that he was Naziah's aunt's boyfriend and that they stayed together. He knew they found the missing piece in the Naziah case. The rap sheet was well known among the community. He was known as a good predator. Naziah's family knew this and tried to warn Janet on several occasions, but she just didn't want to hear it. Her and Jarvis had children together, and she just didn't believe it, or she just didn't want to believe that he would do anything to harm the children in her family. Matter of fact, Jarvis disclosed to Shannon that he did 10 years for assaulting a 13-year-old girl back in 2014 and is a registered sex offender. And he gave her the choice to either continue the relationship or not. And she chose him over the
wow.
girls in her family.
Wow.
Well, let's talk about this aunt some more. What type of person is she? I commend anyone who's willing to take in their child and provide for them. But I question your motives when you have a known predator around your child.
Facts.
And seemingly put yourself first. While researching this case, I stumbled upon Naziah. In the background, just to the right of Naziah, you can see chains in the refrigerator. Not the white freezer on the left, but the black refrigerator just to the right of Naziah. At first, I was going to just let it go, because it's hard to see, and I didn't want to make any accusations. But I went to the aunt's Facebook page, and I seen this post. In this post, she claims refrigerators can have chains in them legally, as long as children have access to them at all times. So I'm not sure how a child has access to the fridge at all times if there's a lock and chain on it. I guess all the kids would have to have keys at this point, and if that's the case, what's the point of the chains? I just thought that was some real strange behavior, but I'll leave it at that. Actually, I won't, because I dig more disgusted I become, because not know what was going on in her home.
I told you.
As well, and they would.
I told you.
Laugh when people
she
would
knew.
tell her she was an offender and that her children were in danger. At this point, throw the whole damn family away. They're sick. Let me know what you guys think about that one in the comment section. Around this time, Naziah's family members grew frustrated with police because they were pointing the finger at Jarvis from the start, but the police were slow to move their feet. The new 13-year-old Naziah at the time had been living with the neighborhood predator, and in the past they tried calling CPS and police on multiple occasions when they heard stories about his inappropriate behavior. 2 years ago at a sleepover, the children that was assaulted were questioned for hours by the adults in the situation, until the children just finally got frustrated and decided to say that they made the whole thing up, even when they didn't.
We suspected him from the beginning because of his background and things like that we've heard about him.
Detroit podcaster Mark DeAndre.
Even in March, when I was doing the podcast, I felt like I had this thing pretty much solved as far as, what came out today. I said this months ago as far as what the result was. During the police investigation, they discovered that Zaya and Jarvis were texting throughout the day while she was at school. They decided to meet up after school that day. Using GPS data and witness statements and surveillance footage, this police believe happened that day. Zaya got up for the morning, she dressed, she got ready for school, and then she walked to the bus stop and took the bus to school. She had on clear framed glasses, a white sweater, and a black jacket over it. A colorful Rugrats puffy jacket with a fur-lined hood with light blue jeans and shoes. There's a video of Zaya getting on the school bus to confirm this. Zaya used a DPS-issued tablet that she used to communicate with the app. She then took one last picture of herself on that tablet. Using that same tablet, she sent a message to a mobile device associated with Jarvis Butts, indicating that they would be meeting up after she got out of school that day. There's also video of her getting out of school at the end of the day in the same clothes. She meets up with Jarvis and a co-worker and goes back to their auto repair shop in Detroit. Zaya is seen by Jarvis' sister at the shop. Jarvis, the co-worker, and Zaya were together in the co-worker's car. They went to Ypsilanti and then returned to the shop on Connor. Well, what happened when Jarvis and the co-worker and Zaya went to Ypsilanti? Is the co-worker also assaulting Zaya? Jarvis's phone
Wow, that's a
at
good
all of these
point.
locations. At 9:30 p.m. to 12:20 p.m., Jarvis was checked into a motel. There's a receipt confirming this as well as his phone placing him at that location. Zaya is never seen again after January 9th, 2024. Now, thanks to a tip, police would find articles of Zaya's clothing near the Rouge River around 7 Island Berg. GPS data showed that Jarvis visited that same area on January 10th, the day after Zaya went missing. Jarvis started sending Zaya sexually explicit texts in September of 2022. In September of 2023, she sent Jarvis a text she had never period. And by November of 2023, Jarvis was aware Zaya was pregnant. Phone records also show that looking for abortion pills, and drinking red antifreeze online before Zaya's death. It's believed that Jarvis killed Zaya because she was pregnant and wasn't able to get an abortion. What do you all think? Do you think that Zaya met her fate in that?
Wow. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, hit the like button. So I'll be following this in November. I'm going to come back with part 2. Like, share, subscribe.